This is LL Cool J's wife of 30 something years. This is somewhat positive, but also letting you know that if you have phases of craziness, you're not alone. It just means it's time for you to learn something new. Don't turn around and say, oh, you married an unkind person. No. Most likely, you're not a kind person. Let's talk about the real issues. Let's go into it.
Marriage itself has its challenges, but you got to have God first. You got to stay on your knees praying. I'm married to a sex symbol. You know, growing up, when we first got together, I mean, you know, I've had my times where
Let's start over.
marriage itself has its challenges,
Marriage itself has its challenges,
but you got to have God first.
but you gotta have God first. What's the first of our core pillars? The G in the GPS is God. God and or gratitude. You gotta have God first. Okay?
You got to stay on your knees praying. I'm married to a sex
You gotta stay where your knees is praying. Sometimes I tell my clients, I say, you gonna pray about that? Let's get to work, because the answer is not always clear. Why not? I thought you have all the answers in the world, Ola. That was an answer. Have you prayed? That was an answer. Yeah, in addition to the fact that I don't have all the answers in the world, of course not. But I probably do have a good word for you, no matter what you're going through. You know, somebody has gone through it and they've succeeded in coming out from it. And somebody have gone through it and they've seen only all the reasons why they can't survive it. They're both right and wrong at the same time. So now you get to choose your choose. God first. Your knees where you're praying. Something like that. Let's keep going.
symbol. You know,
She was married to a sex symbol.
growing up, when we first got together, I mean, you know, I've had my times where I would be going off and, you know, mad at this one because they looked at him this way. And
So imagine being married to LL Cool J. If you don't know who LL Cool J is, it's a rapper. I think he's one of the first, I think it's the number one first mainstream rapper ever. LL Cool J is now 57 years old. He's the first rapper on Def Jam. Is the pioneer of everything you know as rap music today. Basically, I think he also had an ownership stake even in Def Jam. You know, before there was a Jay-Z who was heading that company and all those kind of things. He started as far back as 1983, 84, when it was like 20 or something like that. So this is the wife. LL Cool J is known for being a sex symbol. He was also an actor. Very popular actor, as a matter of fact, you know. So you can imagine somebody being married to that and like, never marry a celebrity. That's the only news you hear about marriage and celebrities, right? That's just a celebrity marriage. Actually, they just only show you the terrible ones. There are also celebrity marriages that have successfully withstand the test of time. But was it just that simple? Did they just get lucky? Let's hear it. She's still talking. Let's hear her. You know, people are very critical. You just happen to be lucky, Ola. Okay, I am a lucky man, by the way. But let's keep going.
you know, but that was years ago. Todd and I got married in 95. His cousin Marion gave me this book called
Okay, they got married in 95. The cousin was graceful enough to give her a book. What is the book?
The Power of a Praying Wife.
The Power of a Praying Wife.
We have a tendency of praying and being like, Lord, change him. Lord, make him this way. Lord, make him that way. But the first thing that I read in that book was that you have to change yourself.
All right. Sounds like a broken record again. You have to change yourself. You have to change yourself. Now, why was she asking, Lord, change him, like many other women? Lord, change him. Lord, change him. What's the focus? The first natural instinct is to point fingers. Why? Because you actually have a good, valid reason to point fingers. Okay? When you look around you long enough, you will have enough reasons to point fingers. And you can justify that bullshit all day long. With logic too. Yes. But guess what? That's how the devil is going to get you. That's how the devil is going to get you. The devil is not the mumu in this type of equation. I promise you. Okay. You will have more than enough reasons around you to point the fingers. What does pointing the finger means? You take the attention away from changing yourself. There's only so much room. There's only so much energy you have. There's only so much will that you have to execute anything. So if you're busy trying to change the person, either you admit it by words or your action is showing that, there's only so much energy left for you to change yourself. Sounds like a broken record, I know, but it's a formula that works. But is it easy? No, it's easier said than done. Changing yourself is super, super difficult. The easiest thing to do in this life for all of us is to just lift those hands and point that finger. It's your fault. It's all your fault. Especially whose fault? The person you're having sex with. What if those that don't believe in God? Gratitude. You can look around you. There's more than enough reasons to suddenly believe that it can be a lot worse. Just come from a place of gratitude. For me, that's just as good as God. Okay, it's one of the most difficult things for us to do, especially when we find ourselves in crisis. Naturally, what do? We'll point fingers. Everything is about to crumble. Heaven is about to fall out of the skies. Everything is just bad for me. Why is it only me? Are they doing you from the village? All this, your mind will go. Your mind will assume all the worst case scenario. And like I said, there will be more than enough reasons and evidences around you to justify self-destruction and self-sabotage. Okay, ladies love Cool James. Yes, he was in the streets allegedly. Yes, that will be another valid thing to point fingers at and say is his fault. Change him. Like I said, there will be more than enough reasons around you to not work on yourself, and they will all be valid reasons, because after all, you're the victim. I'm not being sarcastic, I'm just telling you, because really what it all comes down to is, what do you want? That's what it comes down to. My clients know this a zillion times. We're going to come back to that question. What do you want? Because oftentimes when we're talking, we lose track of the most important thing in all of this. What do you want? Right? Sometimes we just enjoy the talking, talking about all the painful emotional experience of it all. Sometimes we're addicted. We're addicted to the familiarity of that funky, painful. I'm still trying to find a way to explain it better. But sometimes we are addicted to our own pain. Solution is boring. Just he has the answer like that. That's boring. Like imagine somebody saying, work on yourself. That's some boring shit. Well, boring build the world you live in. Okay? Imagine that bridge that's been sitting there since 1930. Still doesn't move. It's right there, but you travel over it back and forth to work every day. I was in New York City for a few weeks, some weeks back, and I asked. I was just curious. I was seeing all the movements. I just googled. I said, how much business? How much? I think it said $25 million moves through the city on any given day. But most of the infrastructures that make that happen, they're boring. They're just in one place. So when you say the solution is boring, I get it. That's life, right? But I'm just trying to get you to be aware of it. It's a lot more fun in a weird, twisted way to keep talking about the pain, how your mother-in-law hurt you, how the sister-in-law said this once upon a time, how the DV happened. Like those things are, I know, very weirdly, very exciting to talk about. We can see them in the numbers, the kind of content people engage, right? So yeah, that's another valid reason to point at. He was, work on him. Don't work on yourself. Because working on yourself doesn't mean you have to stay in the marriage. You do know that. But working on yourself is exactly what will give you the clarity of what would be the next best step. And by the way, the closest thing to that person changing. If you belong in that marriage, everything else will only make it worse. Anyway, did they give the husband book? See, another valid reason to not do self-work. All of them are valid reasons. But how's that going to help you? You are, right? Let's go.
You can't change nobody. You can have standards and you can have boundaries and all of that, but you can't change anybody. You can change yourself. And that's what I did. I changed myself.
What did you need to change about yourself?
Good question. See, it's easy to throw those ones around. I changed myself. What did you need to change about yourself?
Being flipped with the mouth all the time,
Being flipped with the mouth all the time? Oh, now, so we should just shame the victim.
off about this, going, just like
Being in around the way, girl.
yeah, being in around the way, girl. Right, exactly. And as you get older, you mature. I got to a point where women will come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh my God, your husband is so fine," and I'll be like, "Girl, I know."
All right. So wait, what's the big deal? They told you your husband is fine. Oh yes, that will rub a woman off the wrong way if they keep hearing that, right? So, but that doesn't make any sense. So you didn't know you married a LLQJ. Remember, all sense of logic will fly out the window when people get caught up in their emotions, right? So remember that, right? That is a principle of life. It's always true. It's a manual. Write it down, put it on your wall somewhere. All sense of logic, it doesn't matter the gender, will fly out the window when people get caught up in their emotions.
You think I could get a picture with him? Sure, go ahead, go and ask him for a picture. Just don't be disrespectful.
That's easier said than done. But if it's so hard to do, there's a good chance that small little thing can move the hands of the needle so far. Like, wait, so that's why. So why can't he just be an adult? Now one's dumb question. See what we're saying? That's dumb question. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, what do you want? That's what it comes down to. What do you want? See, I can ask a zillion questions that lead to nowhere. But this question, you got to keep coming back to it all the time. What do you want? I don't want to be with him. Simple. Shikena, carry your load. Leave him. Oh, no, it's not that easy. Well, what happened? No, it should be that easy. If it's not that easy, you're a narcissistic person. Okay, no, I'm not going to diagnose you, but you get the gist. You're selfish. You want to have your cake and eat it at the same time. You see how quick it is for four fingers to point back at you when you're pointing? There's four, okay, at least three is pointing at you when you're pointing fingers. Does that mean they're not guilty or wrong too? No, all of us were wrong. The question is, what do you want?
The disrespect, I can't deal with.
Right.
The disrespect, I'm at
Take off the
54.
hoops at that point.
54, I'm ready
Right.
to take off the hoop. I didn't feel the need to have to beat.
All right, so let me see what they're saying in the comments here, because this will be interesting. LL Cool and his wife Simone have been married for 30 years. Yeah, they have 4 children and 4 grandchildren together. Somebody say, if I have to fix my attitude for the sake of my marriage, then hell yes, I will. That's what I'm doing because my husband deserves the best version of me. Just like I deserve the best version of him. You can tell that person is still living the soft life. It's what you need to do, but it's easier said than done, by the way. It's not that hard. See, they say it's not that hard. I'm single and speaking this into existence. No be juju. I'm single and speaking this into existence, of course.
No be juju be that.
Anyway, just here to watch women be combative in the comments. Wahala. She's gonna be gorgeous for lives. Well, she's at peace with herself. That goes a long way, even if you choose to be single, right? Smart lady, we have never heard any negative about her husband and their marriage, so she's doing everything correct. Amen. Trust me, they had negative if you've never heard it. It's just that everybody understands what kind of secret they are covering up in their own house. Everybody have some kind of secret they are covering up in their house. If you want, go and expose your own. Okay? Everybody will eat you up for entertainment. Teach the young ones the best thing you can do for your union, relationship, or even your family is to change you. It's hard to argue with that, actually. When you make your house a home and make it a place where he can find peace. Did she say something about home is where the heart is, right? I think she said something like that. It's true. Make it a home. Make it a home. Oh, it's the woman's. See, when we say, when Yoruba people say, or when they say, they usually say it to women, right? On the surface, the truth is that they've used that to manipulate women a lot and weaponize it against women. So I understand the lashback or backlash, whichever one it is, right? I get it, but it's best for you to ask questions than conclude that this is an actual weapon. Ask, what do you mean? Ask the elders, what do you mean? If they say the woman makes the home, I always start with the man sets the tone, but the woman makes it a home, right? So that you kind of put a soft landing to that. But what is your home? You are the one that will make the home. If that's a triggering statement, instead of doing Gen Z, and you're not Gen Z, you're actually Gen X backwards, but you are doing like, I'm coconutted. Like, ask, because you're not Gen Z. Okay, Gen Z, they will collect in a different level. Okay, they have their own collection coming, premium. Okay, all of them will collect breakfasts, but they will figure it out. It's a society, it has its way of working itself out. But you, let me talk to you, the one that you are Gen Y, Millennial, and Gen X, and you have a lot to lose here. Instead of making conclusive statements or ideologies from your triggers, why not take a shower, drink some cold water, and then ask the elders. This thing is triggering. Because then they might, if you ask that way, they might break it down for you. And then you might find out that I need to engage my soft life for the first time in my life. We're seeing people now starting to say, I want soft life. I don't want to be a strong woman. It took you like 20 years to figure that out. Okay, whatever. Anyway, when you make your house a home and make it a place where he can find peace, let me tell you, that's all they want. A peaceful and loving place to rest their bones. Now, is that an overnight thing? No, it's not. It's easier said than done. It might be a process. You might have created some damages. He might have created some damages. It's going to be a process to get into that space. Okay? That's why we have programs that takes a minute, because just one night, one moment, there's only so much you can do, right? Because people have bad habits and it takes a while to change that bad habit. It takes practice, it takes support, right? President, let me tell you, that's all they want, a peaceful and loving place to rest. And then somebody will say, well, I tried that, it didn't work, right? In fact, I'm going to go into one of the response here. You got to address your nervous system and whatever trauma and baggage you're carrying with you. Be the peace. It changed everything. Be the peace. Some of you need to hear this. Be the peace could mean you have to leave the marriage. The problem is that you're not even being the peace and you're leaving the marriage. You haven't even taken the time to see what's going on first, So, somebody said, yes, he's got to bring peace in order to get peace and keep peace in your home together. All right. The together is something people are very quick to say. You're being defensive. Trust me, I can see through you. You guys should be together. No, you're giving your power away. Okay. You're talking about the outcome. You don't want to do the work. The outcome, the output is that it will be together. Focus on your own focus first. You're being defensive. That's all it is. Well, it takes two to tango. You're being defensive. That is the result. You're looking for the result. You don't want to do the work. Anyway. Somebody said, she said a mouthful. With all due respect, she is a sex symbol herself. She's gorgeous and full of wisdom. LL is a lucky man. I agree 100%. You know the funny thing about that? A lot of beautiful women, they don't see what other people see in them. In fact, if you say too much, they might fight you. Because they don't want to be known for just being a pretty girl. They might even take it as you're patronizing them. Again, life is a complicated piece, so it's understandable. She's dressed like Penny's room from Good Times. Penny's mom from Good Times. I was like, wait, what? Penny, yes. Y'all are so stuck on infidelity, y'all missed the whole message. Shake my head. Some people and a lot of people don't know how to comprehend well. Okay, so he cheated in the past. Okay, point made. Right? Point made. She should have left? Maybe. Maybe if it was you, you should have left. Everybody's story is different. Right? I see why he locked her down. Yep. Yes, ma'am. I've been married for 8 years and took notes. Simone is a class act, a survivor, and a businesswoman in her own right. She supported him, raised a family, and is unproblematic. She said she was problematic until she changed it, right? So it's yeah, this thing will not load other ones here, but let me see. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. That's why you must focus on your own focus. Like I told you, on this public platform, I'm giving my best. I'm trying not to generalize, but technically I am still generalizing because you are hearing generalizations. Okay, you hear one angle. The reality is that every principle needs the adequate and proper application to your own story. Everybody don't have the same story. Okay. All right, so let's so I just thought that was good, something that I could share with you. But I think, let me see, is there one more? This is longer than I thought. It's 2 hours. Is it? Okay, I'll take a break. I'll take a break if I can. I'll see if I can take a break. Okay. All right, we got one more. This one will be short, and then I'll give you guys the lessons for today, and then we'll call it a day.